Welcome to Math Science History. It's December, and that means it is Puzzle Month. Hi, I'm Gabrielle Burchak. I'm a science communicator with a background in math, science, and journalism. This year, we are making up for the last couple of missed puzzles, so we're having a two-parter. So stick around after the midpoint. The second puzzle relies on the answers from the first puzzle, so make sure you get some good notes. And when you are completely finished with the entire puzzle next Tuesday, send us your work and results. Yes, show your work. No cheaters, no pumpkin eaters. The first place winner is the one who answers it first and correctly. You will receive an Amazon gift card for $25 and some Math Science History merchandise. The second place is for the person who answers it second and correctly, and they will win some Math Science History merchandise. And the third is for the person who got it in just on the deadline. Third place winner receives one of our latest computer stickers. We think you're going to like them. So get out your trusty notepad, take some diligent notes, and the puzzle will start right after a word from my advertisers. The year is 2525, and you are a chrononaut, a time traveler, an agent of temporal calibration, and intersensory intelligence. This holiday, as you get ready to enjoy the time with your family, you receive a call from the Bureau. Yep, you gotta go into work. Let you know that you will be back before dinner. So you go into your office and you are immediately transported into headquarters, known as the Histoscientimathcal Bureau, the intertemporal agency for the safeguarding of all mathematical, scientific, and historical integrity. Your chrono team leader for Earth Time, Veronica, meets you at the door and walks you to your capsule. Her eyes glow with a beautiful, soothing green light, and it lights the path before you through the hallways at headquarters, creating a soft green light on the floor. It's official. You've been greenlit.
Welcome, Chrononaut. Sorry to pull you away from your family during the holidays, but we have activated you from stasis with level 3 clearance. We are sending you on a mission. Time anomalies have disrupted the sequence of knowledge. You must recover 7 keys. These are fragments scattered across space-time. These keys will stabilize the continuum. You will need to solve the sequence, decode the numbers, and realign the past.
She says this as she points to your capsule. You step in and turn around to look at her.
We are counting on you to stabilize the timeline before a knowledge collapse ripples across the centuries. We wish you safe travels. Track your coffee rations. Your costumes are hanging up in the bathroom.
The doors close. You sit at the helm. The lights dim. Costumes, you ask yourself. This is going to get interesting. The walls pulse to the voice that tells you your first mission.
Temporal Insertion 1. Sending you to Alexandria, Egypt, in the Earth year 395 BCE.
And in the blink of an eye, you arrive outside the Great Museon Library of Alexandria. You gear up with your toga and bag, found in the bathroom, of course, carrying your trusty notepad and pencil. As you enter the library, you see scrolls that tower to the ceiling. Scribes whisper across the sunlit courtyards. The air smells of ancient ink, pressed papyrus, and curiously, roasted beans. A scholar in a purple linen robe approaches you. Without a word, she greets you and walks you to a hallway. You are both being followed by a beautiful desert cat that appears to be chasing a little red dot. You enter the hall. It has 12 cubbies, each filled with one scroll. Your guide speaks softly.
Some say knowledge begins in chaos, but this pattern has always whispered order.
The scholar offers you a steaming clay mug. The scent is strangely familiar.
It is imported,
she says.
A rare bean from the mountains beyond Nubia. Helps with sequences.
You take a sip. That is some good coffee. She turns and walks away. Could that have been the great Hypatia? You turn back to the cubbies. You reach for the first scroll, carefully unrolling it, and it has only one number on it, the number 1. Curious. You reach for the second scroll. Again, it has only one number on it, the number 1. Okay, this is weird. You reach for the third scroll, and it has another number on it, the number 2. You pull out each scroll looking at them, and they are numbered in order 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 59, 89, and you finally get to the 12th cubby. You pull out the last scroll. In faint charcoal ink, it reads,
Fill in the next value, the 12th number. When you do, the Fibonacci gate opens, and you may continue.
So here is the puzzle. You are looking at a Fibonacci sequence. Each number is the sum of the 2 before it. What is the 12th number in this sequence? Calculate it carefully. There is only one correct answer. This number becomes the first key in your mission. Submit your answer as a whole number, no estimation, no rounding. So you write down the answer in your notepad. You close it up and walk out to your cloaked capsule. You walk in and sit at the helm. The capsule darkens and the walls pulse with the voice in the capsule.
1 key secured. 2 more await. Stand by for your next jump, chrononaut. Stand by, chrononaut.
Your capsule arrives in a snowy field with a large stone estate in the distance. You ask your computer where you are. The computer replies,
Your next insertion point is confirmed. You have arrived in France in the Earth year 1740 during the Enlightenment. Your target is Gabrielle Émilie Le Tonnelier de Breteuil, also known as Émilie du Châtelet, the physicist, philosopher, mathematician, and unofficially the reason the Histo-Scientific Bureau had to revise its no-time entanglements with historical geniuses clause. Please remember that the Histo-Scientific Bureau would like to emphasize that field agents are no longer permitted to quote Emily's letters aloud after timeline 6A collapsed into a rhyming loop.
Well, that's interesting, you tell yourself. No time entanglements. What does that mean? So you go to the bathroom and there it is, your Rococo attire, complete with ruffles and silk. You grab your notebook and pencil, stuff it into your silk tote, and haul across the snowy field in your tight and uncomfortable buckled leather shoes. You mumble to yourself, making note that the Bureau needs to provide proper-sized shoes for these kinds of expeditions. After being escorted down a grand hallway, you arrive inside her study, warm despite the snow outside. Books in Latin and French are stacked like ramparts around the hearth. Newton's Principia sits on one large table with a cracked teacup beside a stack of candle-stubbed notebooks. Snow taps gently on the frosted glass. At this time in Earth history, Emily is the first woman to have published a paper with the Royal Academy of Sciences in Paris. Emily, wearing a silk sky blue robe over her hooped dress, sips from a porcelain cup. Standing at her chalkboard, she taps her foot. The board is covered in sweeping integrals. Without even looking at you, she says,
Chrononaut, I assume you're here for the falling object problem?
You walk over to her. She taps her chalk against 2 freshly written formulas. The top one reads, S of t equals 4.9 times t squared. And the bottom one reads, V equals V naught plus A times t. She says,
While I was visiting the cliffs of Etretat, I dropped a stone. These equations tell me how far it falls, in meters over time. In these equations, t equals time, A equals acceleration, V equals velocity, and V naught equals the initial velocity of the rock. Tell me, how fast is it falling exactly 3 seconds after I let it go?
She raises one eyebrow.
No approximations and no shortcuts.
She smirks at you and takes a sip. Her butler pours a second cup and brings it to you. Emily says,
It is Bureau blend. Strictly speaking, the Histo-Scientific Bureau prohibits the consumption of 26th century stimulants across timelines without a Form 9E. But I won permission in a poker game with the commander of the Chronofold. Don't worry, you have permission to break the law here.
And she winks again. Wait, you met the commander? You ask.
I did. He has a thing for folding laundry and driving 21st century electric vehicles. He even taught me how to drive one. It sure took the thrill out of our horse and buggies. By the way, you may use algebra, or if you're advanced, calculus. Either way, I will know if you guess. You can use 1 decimal place only.
So, here is the puzzle. You are given 2 position formulas for a falling object. Each position formula will work for the puzzle. You can choose one. S of t equals 4.9 times t squared is your equation in calculus. And your equation in algebra is V equals V naught plus A times T. All of your answers should be in meters, 1 decimal place only. Finally, as you calculate, Emily sets a second cup down beside you.
You'll need this. The night is long, and so is the road to enlightenment. Now, if you'll pardon me, I have a card game to get to.
And with that, she grabs the pot and her cup and walks out of the room. As she walks down the hall, you hear her say,
If falling stones you wish to know, what makes their pace forever grow? Use A in sums, but truth I tell, it's gravity's hand that casts the spell.
Once you have your solution, you write the value in your notebook, stash it in your silk bag, and walk back to your cloaked capsule. With every step, you wonder why anyone would wear stockings in the snow. Back at the warm capsule, you sit at the helm. The capsule darkens and the walls pulse with the voice in the capsule.
One more key remains, chrononaut. Prepare for your next jump.
We'll be right back after a quick word from my advertisers.
Chrononaut, temporal coordinates are not confirmed. I repeat, temporal coordinates are not confirmed.
Your capsule lands. You look out and you see that you're in the docking bay of a large ship. Nothing looks familiar, not even the technology. 3 diminutive aliens with red curly wigs, all wearing muumuus, are standing around ancient Mayan artifacts. Your capsule lights up as it alerts you.
Possibly you are in the year 3025. What we do know is that you've been summoned by future archaeologists that refer to themselves as the Digonauts.
Okay, you weren't expecting this, so you grab your notepad and pencil and step off the platform. All 3 redheads look at you as though they were expecting you as you grasp that you have jumped 500 years forward from your departure point in 2525. You were not prepared for this, and there were no costumes in the bathroom. One of them gestures you over to the artifacts. I'm in the future, you ask.
Yup. Margaret, can you turn down those lights? Anywho, sorry to inconvenience you here in the future, but I promise we're going to leave you with a parting gift. Hi, I'm Margaret, lead Digonaut. I like that name, my lead Digonaut. That's Margaret there in the red, and the other one there is Margaret. She's also wearing red. So we've recovered a relic. It's numerical, but it's different. We need someone Bureau certified who was around before the knowledge collapse began.
She hands you an etched data slate. You recognize the inscription as Mayan inscription. Your neural HUD activates. A prompt scrolls across your vision.
Decode this vigesimal numeral. Ancient Mayan structure. Dots are worth 1 each. Bars are worth 5. Bottom row equals 1's place. Each row above equals times 20 of the row below.
You blink. A voice from your earpiece cuts in. It's admin from the Histoscientifical Bureau.
Just a reminder that if you convert anything into base 10 without logging a Form 17B, that's technically cultural erosion. Also, your last coffee ration was flagged. Caffeine distribution beyond the 27th century is under review.
You sigh. You look at the screen and it reads, from top to bottom, 3 dots and then a bar. The Digonaut chimes in.
We think this one is either an ancient joke or a burrito order. But save it anyway. You never know when you might need it.
You pull out your notepad and write the question down, even if it was a burrito order. A Margaret from the other end of the dock yells,
And that's the wrong number! Show them the other one over there!
Margaret looks back at you.
Oops. Sorry. We're going to scrub your memory on that one. Here, follow me.
The archaeologist gestures to a larger display.
Okay, no more stalling. Here is the one we are stuck on.
She projects a vertical Mayan numeral with 3 distinct levels. She points to a glyph on the display. The top row reads with 1 dot. The middle row reads nothing. It's completely empty. And the bottom row reads 2 bars and a dot. You write the second answer in your notepad and show it to the diminutive redhead. You then explain to Margaret how it works. Margaret, you see, it's a Mayan vigesimal system. The dots are worth 1 each. Bars are 5, and you read them from bottom to top. The bottom row is in the 1's place, and each row above is 20 times the row below. The Digonaut takes her wig off and scratches her head, and then puts it back on. She looks back at her co-workers and yells,
Hey guys, we're overthinking it.
I knew it!
The Digonaut hands you a climate-stable flask.
Thanks for your help, Leon. Here, it's our own Digonaut Bureau blend, grown in hydroponic volcanic caves, filtered through crushed obsidian, and it's definitely not approved for temporal travel, so this parting gift should be kept on the down low, if you know what I mean.
You look at her. Yes, Margaret, I know exactly what you mean. You know exactly where to put that coffee when you get back in the capsule. So you walk back onto your capsule. The door closes behind you as you leave the launch pad. And just like that, as though you never left, you're back home. The capsule shudders to a halt. Home, if you can call a bureau tucked into the folds of time home. The pressure equalizes, the door hisses open. You step out, blinking off the lingering echo of bright corridors, ancient libraries, and a freezing cold walk in the snow. You look down at your notebook, and in it are 4 numbers. You stare at them. You pause. Wait. Okay, Alexandria, France. You flip back through your notes. Margaret, okay. You remember the 3 missions vividly. The Museum Library in Alexandria, a snow-covered study in Enlightenment France, and a bright capsule filled with Margarets. And yet, you have 4 numbers. And for some strange reason, it feels like your brain has been scrubbed by an interdimensional rubber eraser. Before you leave the pod bay, a robot rolls a small cart towards you. On it sits 4 satchels, each with a different color: purple, sky blue, green, and red. The robot hands you a slip of paper that reads, "Each woman you encountered today left you 1 clue. 1 item, 1 satchel. Unfortunately, your ride back home got bumpy and all the goodies fell out. But we managed to save the coffee that Margaret gave you. We don't know if you are aware, but that blend is illegal. We had to confiscate that. Our sincerest apologies. Take a look at the gifts and the bags. If you can figure out who gave you what, you will be ready for what comes next." So here's the puzzle. You have to match each satchel to each gift. So go back through your notes and look at all the details of each trip. Finally, after sifting through the parting gifts and the satchels, you gather them and you walk into the bureau's debrief lounge where your steaming coffee mug is waiting. Veronica walks in and goes to her console.
You all right? You look like someone handed you a sandwich and called it algebra.
You shuffle through the gifts. You nod slowly. I have 4 values, you say, but I only remember 3 missions. Veronica taps a few keys at her console and smirks.
Temporal drift, it happens. Honestly, you've done better than most. Some agents come back with bunnies.
She slides a folder toward you.
Your official assignment was to retrieve 3 keys, numbers that, together, form the stabilizer sequence. But if you found more, something could be wrong. Let's take a look.
You show her the numbers.
Okay, there's the first number, the second number, the third number, a dash, and the word burrito. Burrito? Were you taking food orders?
I don't remember, you tell her.
There's a 4th number. All your calculations look good, except for that 3rd number with the burrito notation. Well, I guess your next mission will be more interesting than we thought.
You look at the numbers one last time. Still no memory of that 4th number. The only memory that remains is the faint smell of those precious volcanic coffee beans. Chrononaut, you've done your part for now, but the stabilizer is not complete. 3 numbers were the mission. 4 are in your possession. Which ones matter? Which are distractions? And why do you have 4 new satchels? And what comes next? Something fast is waiting for you. Very fast. The adventure continues right after a quick word from my advertisers. Before the break, you stepped into the Histoscientifical Bureau, took your first mission as a chrononaut, and traveled through the Library of Alexandria, the snowy study of Émilie du Châtelet, and the future archaeology bay run by the Digonauts. You collected 3 numerical keys, solved a Fibonacci sequence, calculated the velocity of a falling stone, and decoded a Mayan vigesimal number, and returned with something a bit extra. You got 3 keys plus 4 satchels, and the clue, 65 burrito. Now you will gather 3 more keys along with a few extra clues, all of which just might lead to the impossible and show you what happens when scientific truths turn out to be stepping stones, when you decide to step beyond the limits you've always assumed were fixed. When we left you, chrononaut, you were standing in the debrief lounge at the Histoscientimathal Bureau. 4 satchels sat on a cart, purple, sky blue, red, and green. Did you solve who gave you what? These colors and objects will come in very useful as we begin the second mission. You sling all 4 satchels across your shoulder. Veronica meets you at the pod bay, her eyes lighting up your capsule with a soft green light.
Well done. Now, for round 2, 4 more keys. And this time, you'll need your gadgets. The one I gave you will come in handy for your first jump.
You step into your capsule. The doors seal. The walls dim.
Welcome back, Chrononaut. As usual, your costumes are in the bathroom. Keep your notepad handy. Temporal insertion 4, sending you to exoplanet LHS 3844b.
Your capsule lands on the twilight edge of a tidally locked world, one hemisphere eternally scorched by its sun, and the other frozen in shadow. The atmosphere is thin, the air is oddly still. This place doesn't spin. At the Terminator line, where dusk never fades, stands a solitary observatory of gleaming panels and reflective surfaces. You run to the bathroom to find your first outfit. It is a mercury-coated bodysuit with gravity-calibrated boots and a helmet. On your way to leave, you look down at the satchels and grab all 4, just in case you might need one of them. You step outside, eyes adjusting to the slow pulse of dim gold and pale blue light. The watch inside one of the satchels ticks, anchoring your sense of time to Earth's frame of reference. A door hisses open. You walk into the observatory. It is a vast, silvery white dome. Along the walls are carvings, almost like the cat hieroglyphs from the old Egyptian tablets. You are met with a fascinatingly beautiful alien. It moves like mercury, its body morphing from glossy obsidian to glowing white as it traverses light and shadow. You cannot tell where its face is, only that it speaks without a sound directly into your mind.
Chrononaut, we cannot measure time in your terms. Our species evolved without rotation, but our orbiting satellite speaks only in Earth time calibration. Please help us sync the signal.
A large panel displays a number. It says, distance to satellite, 218,248,909.424 kilometers. Transmission method, laser pulse. The being gestures toward the control panel and a countdown indicator. Your mind races. How can you help them sync the signal? Then you remember that Veronica said the item she gave you will help. Which one did Veronica give you? She said it would come in handy. Which bag do you open? Now, there's a transmission method, a laser pulse. As you look around the room wondering what you can use, you glance at the cat hieroglyphs and you remember Hypatia's cat. You know exactly what to use. The laser pointer. Which bag do you open? You tell the alien, we can use these 2 tools. The alien replies,
Primitive beam. Insufficient for orbital transmission.
It then maneuvers over to a halo of rotating crystalline panels, arranged in concentric rings above a translucent pedestal.
Our photon harmonizer array. You can insert your laser artifact here.
So, Chrononaut, here is your first challenge. To properly sync the transmission, you must calculate how long it will take for a laser pulse to travel from the observatory to the satellite. You will use the distance formula solving for time. The distance formula is distance equals rate multiplied by time, with rate in this case being the speed of light. When you maneuver things around, you find that time equals distance divided by speed. The distance from the landlocked planet to the orbiting satellite is 218,248,909.424 kilometers. And the speed of light, it is 299,792,458 meters per second squared. So you will need to convert kilometers to meters for this equation. Your answer will be in seconds. Write this number in your notebook. It is the fourth key in your stabilizer sequence. After you write it in your notebook, you insert Hypatia's tool into the base. The array begins to shimmer. It aligns its lenses and internal prisms to amplify and harmonize the simple beam into a focused, quantum-stable signal capable of space travel. The laser's red flicker stretches, sharpens, and becomes a blinding column of light, narrow, humming with precision. You punch the answer into the control panel. Veronica's Earth-calibrated watch ticks exactly as you press the sync button. A thin beam of light, pure, narrow, unwavering, launches into the sky, slicing through the planet's hazy exosphere. It vanishes into the darkness, bound for the distant satellite. For a moment, the planet is still. The Mercury alien shifts, refracting like a prism under a lens flare. It pauses. It says,
Satellite awaiting contact. Transmission is aligned.
It does not smile. These beings have no mouths, no eyes, but a faint shimmer pulses across its surface like a silent applause. It bows with unnerving precision. The alien speaks.
Earth seconds. Now understood. Thank you.
The alien tilts its head, its limb now morphing gently from solid to translucent.
Safe travels, chrononaut.
The capsule speaks in your earpiece.
One additional key acquired. Mission accomplished.
You walk back to your capsule and take off.
Buckle up. New coordinates plotted.
The audio
Your next
becomes warbled and incoherent. You try to override the communication module to read the next destination, but the screen goes black. Suddenly, your capsule comes to a screeching halt and docks to a glass tube with a moving conveyor belt. Your communication module and screens are back up. Your capsule speaks coherently.
Chrononaut, it's time for coffee. Welcome to the Red Roaming Cafe Intertimeline branch.
You look up and you see a drive-up cafe floating in space, straight out of the Jetsons. You run to the bathroom looking for a costume. You see two, George or Jane. Pick your favorite. You step out of your capsule and onto the belt that delivers you to your destination. The doors slide open and you are in a very bright, bustling cafe in space. The cafe is too bright for you. Then you remember that you have something in one of the satchels. What is it and what color is the satchel? You look around, tables float in lazy ellipses, mugs spin gently but never spill, stabilized by invisible magnetic fields. A neon sign over the bar flickers. It says, serving all timelines since we forgot. A wide variety of aliens and historical Earth people are sitting at tables, laughing and drinking coffee. One of the baristas turns around. She's wearing the same sunglasses, red curls. She's also wearing a red muumuu. You know that face. She's one of the Margarets from the Digonaut team, just on her side hustle. Margaret, you exclaim.
Hey, it's you. Oh, you're the Bureau's favorite math nerd time traveler. You want a copy?
You nod intensely. You need that coffee. So she hands you a steaming mug.
How many cups of coffee have you had since you first started your adventure?
You raise your eyebrows at her. You take a sip. It's strong, a little smoky, with something like cinnamon and starlight.
It's good, right? It's the blend your boss confiscated. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. Okie dokie. Today's special comes with a puzzle, chemistry flavored, and a side of burrito.
She winks. She snaps her fingers and a burrito wrapped in red foil comes flying at your face. She puts her hand up and grabs it right before it touches your nose. She slams it down on the table. An 8-legged, sparkly green alien with 4 faces on its head yells,
"Oh, waiter! You who? Over here!"
I'll be back. My customers await.
You look down at the burrito, realizing that since you started the mission, you haven't had a thing to eat. You start to open it and you smell fresh hatch chilies. It's human food. As you peel back the foil, on the inside of the red wrapper, in big handwritten numbers, it says $65. Below it, it is written, "Don't lose this. It's not the price, it's a clue. Some numbers you carry, some numbers carry you." You pull out your comm device and take a picture while you devour the burrito. The burrito has buttery, refried black beans, chorizo, gooey cheese, and fresh hatch chilies, onions, and cilantro. And something that you just can't figure out. This burrito is the most delicious burrito you've ever had in your entire life. It must be the hatch chilies. Right behind your head, a whiteboard hovers in the air. You settle in, you munch on your burrito while you solve the puzzle. Puzzles, illegal coffee, and the world's greatest burrito. You debate never leaving this cafe. On the whiteboard, 2 values appear. It says, light roast coffee, pH 6.4. Dark roast coffee, pH 4.9. Underneath is a reminder. It says H plus equals 10 to the power of negative pH. It is an equation also known as the anti-logarithm of the negative pH. Basically, the H plus is called a hydrogen cation. It's also called a proton, and it means the hydrogen ion concentration in moles per liter. It can be calculated from the pH of the coffee using the inverse of the pH formula, which is a base 10 exponentiation. I will post this equation also on my website at mathsciencehistory.com under the link titled The Transcriptorium. There you can find all the equations and information that you need to finish solving this puzzle. So to clarify, it's basically an equation that will help you solve this part of the puzzle. And again, it says H plus equals 10 to the power of negative pH. Margaret floats back with her serving tray.
I'm a ding-dong. I forgot the guac and chips.
She puts it on the table and holds up the coffee pot.
Oh yeah, hey. Just a reminder, acidity in coffee is tied to the concentration of hydrogen ions. pH is just a way to compress that into a nice little logarithmic scale. Small differences in pH can mean big differences in acidity. You don't want a grumbly tummy. Refill?
Of course, you tell her, knowing the repercussions while traveling in a small capsule. She pours you another cup.
If light roast has a pH of 6.4 and dark roast has a pH of 4.9, how many times more acidic is the light roast? That is, what's the ratio of their hydrogen ion concentrations? Divide the H plus concentration of the dark roast by the H plus concentration of the light roast. 1 decimal place or no more coffee for you.
She smiles and taps the formula.
Use the pH formula. Don't panic. It's just exponents in disguise. Kind of like that burrito wrapper that is more than packaging. It's a product for turbulent times, if you get my drift.
She winks again and floats away. So, chrononaut, for this puzzle, light roast coffee has a pH of 6.4, dark roast coffee has a pH of 4.9. So you're going to divide the hydrogen ion concentration of the dark roast by the hydrogen ion concentration of the light roast. And hydrogen ion concentration is represented with an H plus, and it equals 10 to the power of the negative pH. And again, it's just exponents and division. So you're going to find how many times more acidic is the light roast than the dark roast. You compute the ratio, round your answer to 1 decimal place, and write it down as a number. This value is key 5 in your stabilizer sequence. Margaret floats back over.
Don't lose that burrito wrapper.
You ask her what's inside the burrito while you fold the red foil and put it in your notebook.
Honestly, beans and hatch chilies from your planet. After taunting the humans in Area 51, we took a road trip and smuggled out a case of those chilies. But really, the math is the spicy part.
Suddenly, the cafe begins to shimmer. The mugs, the whiteboard, Margaret's curls all stretch like taffy and snap out of sight. Your capsule catches you like a safety net.
2 keys collected in this mission. Check your satchels.
You look over and see 4 satchels. 1 purple, 1 sky blue, 1 red, and 1 green. Which tool haven't you used so far? Within one breath, the entire capsule starts to shake. The gravity loosens as you try to calibrate its pull within the capsule. The ride is bumpy, and you're not feeling very confident.
Hold tight, Chrononaut. Coordinates are unknown. Searching for next insertion point.
Stars fly past you. This has never happened before, and you are hoping that you will get out of this alive.
Insertion point located. Brace for impact.
The capsule hurtles through the time stream, spinning end over end. A halo of turquoise light wraps around the hull as you cling to the console for dear life. Somewhere between centuries, gravity tilts sideways, and the capsule slams into something solid. The capsule clips the very tip of St. Paul's Cathedral. A shower of slate fragments scatter across the London rooftops as the machine skids off the tower, spirals, and careens downward, landing in a muddy field just outside the city. Steam hisses from the cracked hull. The door wheezes open. You get thrown across the capsule and land in front of the door to the bathroom. You catch your breath. You check yourself. Oh, good. No broken bones. You're just a little shook up. The capsule is at a tilt as you try to stand up. You ask the computer, where are we?
You have arrived in London, England, in the Earth year 1835. By the way, the hull to this capsule is cracked. Target, Augusta Ada King, Countess of Lovelace, mathematician, visionary, hero of algorithmic imagination. And the primary reason, the Histoscientifical Bureau's no unsupervised access to prototypes waiver was retired after only 3 hours. Secondary target, Charles Babbage, inventor, engineer, collector of grievances against street musicians, and the man who once attempted to mathematically quantify irritation. Approach with caution. He may attempt to recruit you to assist in reorganizing his workshop. Decline if possible. By the way, the hull to this capsule is cracked. Mission parameters: retrieve and assemble 4 missing punch cards whose combined value will advance your current objective. Be advised that the analytical engine is in a state of partial functionality, partial inspiration, and partial T-related damage. Reminder: the Bureau strongly discourages discussing modern computing concepts in Ada's presence. The last agent to mention Wi-Fi precipitated the great algorithm arms race of 1852. Proceed with discretion, admiration, and minimal collateral mathematical innovation. By the way, the hull to this capsule is cracked, but Charles and Ada may have something that can help you.
You pry open the bathroom door and see an 1835 costume complete with puffy sleeves and ruffles. You put it on and sling the 4 satchels, purple, sky blue, green, and red, over your shoulder and trudge toward London. Gas lamps flicker in the gathering dust. Horse carts rattle over cobblestones. And inside a large workshop on Dorset Street, 2 brilliant minds are arguing over something that appears to be a pile of wood, gears, and paper.
Charles, we are missing 4 punch cards. Not 1, not 2, but 4.
Ada, my dear, I do not misplace cards. They migrate.
They are not migratory creatures, Charles.
You step inside quietly.
Hello there. You look as though time has knocked you about a bit.
You reply, it does that frequently.
Do you know anything about misplaced computational artifacts?
You tell him, I might. What exactly are you looking for?
4 punch cards that must be added together. When combined, they create one specific value. Without that value, the analytical engine cannot power our experiment.
Or, I suspect, fix the Jedlik travelling machine.
Traveling machine? That gets your attention. You raise your eyebrows and say, I'll help. Ada finds the first card under a teacup, stained with a perfect ring of Earl Grey. Babbage discovers the second inside a drawer that he claims he never uses. You pull the third card from between 2 gear cogs, and the fourth appears to be behind the engine's brass frame. That was definitely not a migration. They spread all 4 cards across the table.
These, when added, will give us the number we require. We need to power up a travelling machine we found, so that perhaps it will live again.
You look at the punch cards. Each card holds 7 columns that are numbered from bottom to top, 0 through 9. Each card represents a 7-digit value. The hole punches tell you what each digit is. Card 1 reads 1157802. So when you look at them, it reads 1,157,802. The following cards are as follows. Card 2 reads 2996538. Card 3 reads 026421. And card 4 reads 019350. You get the number you need, and then you write it in your notebook.
The powering apparatus is over here. As you can see, it is an electromagnetic rotating device. It powers Jedlick's travelling device that we had found sitting in a ravine out in the field. However, we cannot get it to work. We had worked some calculations, but the punch cards we had, according to my friend Charles, had migrated.
She says that using air quotes while looking at Charles. The electromagnetic rotating device is connected to the analytical machine. One by one, you feed the punch cards through the reader of the analytical machine. Each card slides through. The engine's pins drop with a mechanical series of clicks. The number has been added. Inside the machine, gears lock into place. A massive central wheel begins to rotate.
Ah, there she goes, a flawless calculation in progress.
A narrow strip of paper emerges from the output slot, tiny holes tracing a precise mathematical pattern.
Let's punch this in to power up the batteries.
She punches it in, but nothing happens.
Fartleberries, it's not working. Got any ideas?
You think about your satchels, but nothing comes to mind. Then you remember Margaret. The burrito wrapper from the Roaming Cafe. The number 65 scribbled on the wax paper. And Margaret's cryptic warning.
It's a product for turbulent times, if you get my drift.
You get it. Product. The pieces finally factor together. You pull out the burrito wrapper and unravel it. They look at you oddly. You tell them, floating cafe, best burrito ever. You then pull out your notebook and run some calculations, and voila, you just found the 6th key. You write down the number, and then you show the number to Ada. Here, try this, you tell her. She manually types up the new number into the analytical machine, and the electromagnetic rotating device powers up.
Yes, this is it. Let's get this to Jedlick's miracle carriage and get it moving.
Ada and Charles lead you to the field where the carriage sits in a ravine. There sits a sky blue electric carriage, decades ahead of its time, the experimental vehicle built by Anyos Jedlick just 7 years earlier. And just 10 meters away is your partially cloaked capsule with a crack across the roof. Staring at your capsule, Charles says,
That cannot exist.
Dear Charles, invention rarely waits for permission.
You, Ada, and Charles carry the electromagnetic rotating device over to the sky blue electric carriage. You connect it and wait. The entire carriage powers down.
Curious, the traveling device is incomplete.
And then you remember something. Staring at the car, you then look at the matching sky blue satchel, and you remember Emily telling you about driving a car with the commander of the Chronofold. You pull your final tool out of the bag. What is it? We'll be right back after a quick word from my advertisers. You pull the key fob out of the blue satchel and hit the start button. The electric carriage starts up and starts running, getting faster and faster, and then it coughs, sputters, and then stops.
The poor machine still lacks an instruction.
You're not sure what to do next. You've tried everything, so you press your communicator and call Veronica.
Oh, good. You're alive. I was on a coffee break.
You explain to her that you're stuck in 1835 with Ada Lovelace, Charles Babbage, Anyos Jedlick's electric car, and 4 punch cards and a burrito wrapper that don't add up to enough electricity.
That is quite a to-do list. Here's your problem. You didn't finish the puzzle. You need to add all 6 keys, but no burrito wrapper.
She takes a sip and then looks at you with wide eyes.
All 6?
Your eyes widen, and then you remember everything. Hypatia's numbers, Emily's numbers, Margaret's vigesimal numbers, everything you gathered in all of your jumps. You open your notebook. On the first page are your 3 keys from your first mission. Veronica verified all of them except for the burrito notation. And on the next page are your 3 new keys. Key 4, the time the pulse hit the satellite from the landlocked planet. Key 5, the acidity ratio between light and dark roast coffee. And key 6, the total from Emily and Charles' punch cards, further calculated in your notebook with the help of Margaret's burrito wrapper. So you add up all the keys and show them to Ada and Charles. They punch it in and it works. You have all sufficiently powered up the Jedlik carriage. Ada whispers into Charles' ear.
Charles, that is 1 digit more than...
Shh, Ada. I want to see where this goes. Chrononaut, I must question, which century do you truly call home?
You reply, honestly, I ask myself the same question.
Good work, everybody. Ada, Charles, can my chrononaut use the spare parts from our broken capsule to create an oxygen-safe capsule around Jedlik's car to drive it back to 2525?
Most definitely.
But of course.
Thank you. Chrononaut, I will meet you at the Histo-Scientifical Bureau.
So you follow Veronica's instructions and you now have a levitating car with an electric blue field. It doesn't have a bathroom, but it will get you back home. You grab your satchels, your notebook, and put them in the carriage. The sky blue carriage rises in a shimmering globe of light. You hit the key fob, activating the ignition. The bubble collapses inward and launches you into the time stream. Moments later, you land back in 2525, right outside the Histo-Scientifical Bureau. Veronica is waiting with a clipboard.
All right, let's see what you brought us. For the satchels?
You show her what is inside each one and who it is from.
Very good, Chrononaut.
You show her the numbers.
Excellent. That was the number that you needed to power up Jedlik's carriage. Do you recognize anything interesting about that number? Do you remember Ada whispering to Charles? What did she say right before you left? What is that number? I believe it was mentioned on the tidal-locked planet. If you've done all the math correctly, your final stabilizer value should be just a little bit faster than something very famous. And what does that number say about exceeding your own expectations? You did it. You exceeded the impossible. Remember that. Now, where is the 7th number?
The 7th? You're shocked. You ask her, what? The 7th number?
Yes, the final number of this entire mission, the one that completes the sequence and stabilizes the knowledge continuum.
You are shocked. You thought you had gathered all the numbers. You failed the mission and you're not sure what to say. Veronica taps your notebook.
The 7th number is the number of cups of coffee you drank on this journey. We have to track those. I told you that when you first started.
You look down at your logbook and there is 1 blank line left. How many cups of coffee did you drink on this adventure? Go back through your notes and write it down. That is the final number. Now that you have all of the puzzle pieces provided to you in one episode, go over your notes. And when you are finished, send your work. Send a screenshot or a scan of it, as well as all the answers to hello@mathsciencehistory.com. Again, that is hello@mathsciencehistory.com. All the answers must be in on Tuesday, December 16th at midnight Pacific time. And we will announce the winners on Friday, December 19th on our Flashcard Friday episode. And if you are so brave, we would love to interview you and learn about your love and obsession with math, science, and history. So again, finish the puzzle, send us your answers and the work before December 16th at midnight Pacific time, and we will announce the winners on Friday, December 19th. I hope you enjoyed this puzzle. It is for everybody around the world, whoever is listening to it. I will accept answers from all parts of this planet. Be the first one to solve it correctly. Email me your work and your answers, and you will receive a choice of Math Science History merchandise and a $25 Amazon gift card. The second runner-up, second one to get it in with all the correct answers and showing your work, will receive a Powered by Curiosity t-shirt, brought to you by Math Science History. And the third will receive one of our latest Math Science History computer stickers. Again, all answers must be in by Tuesday, December 16th by midnight Pacific time. Winners will be announced on our Flashcard Fridays episode on Friday, December 19th. And until then, keep your coffee warm, keep your mind sharp, and your coordinates close. This is the Histo-Scientifical Bureau signing off. Carpe diem.